everybody, I'm Rick Beato. On today's episode, I'm going to call this Don't Be Afraid of 7th Chords. Just straight dominant 7th chords. I used to be a teacher, and a lot of my students would be afraid of just playing on a straight dominant chord. If they were playing blues, if they were playing jazz, if they were playing rock, like what do I play on a regular E7 chord like that, or E9, right? I said, well, you can play the minor pentatonic, right? That'll give you a bluesy sound. You can play the major pentatonic. Gives you more of like an Allman Brothers sound. Or you can play Mixolydian. Gives you kind of a Jerry Garcia sound, right? Or maybe Peter Frampton. But one of the things that I used to tell them to practice that I think is the most helpful is to take these 4 fragments. I call them spread dominant chords, right? The first one would be this. So root, flat 7, 3rd. So here's your E7 chord. Then I go to the next inversion, and I go up to the 3rd, 3rd, 7, 5, and then 5, 3rd, 7, 7, 3rd, 5, and then root, 7, 3rd, right? And then up to here. So this would be 3rd, 7th, 5th. So I would tell them first practice those. And then come down. I added a little neighbor tone there. Right? There's the flat 5. Flat 3rd. Into the natural 3rd. Okay. Then what can you do with those? Well, the next thing I would have them do is just to play, take the first position here. So you're going to bend, you're going to play 1, flat 7, 3rd, bend into the 3rd, and then come down into that blues position here, right? Then I would go through each different inversion on the 3rd. Have them play 3, flat 7, 5th, bend into the flat 7. So it's practicing going into these scale positions, starting with the little arpeggio that gives the sound of the chord, and then you go into the scale position and you continue your improvisation. Once you've announced the chord, that gives me that sound. Then you can move from there into your more scalar lines. Then I would go to the next position right here, based off the 5th. Play that then. Then I would bend up to the 5th of the chord, right? Then I bend into that 4th. And I go into that flat 7. So I'm constantly looking at these different positions. This. Then I would go to this position, flat 7, 3rd, root, and then I bend back into the root. Or I would say, bend up into the 4th. Then I would go to the root here, and I'd bend into that major 3rd. And come down the minor pentatonic. Or go root, flat 7, 3rd, and then bend from the 4th up to the 5th. And use that. That would be the dominant 7 with a 4 and the 3. Right? So I'm just adding the sus4 to a dominant. That to me, once again, gives me that kind of Jerry Garcia feel to it. Or it kind of sounds like the Beatles even. Another thing you do to spice these little arpeggio fragments up is to just use neighbor tones. Lead into each of the starting notes by a half step. So this position, I just shifted from there to there. So. And I used a diminish there to give it a little bit of movement harmonically. So right there, I use a little Rickism. I use... So I did. That would be a E sus4, E minor, and then I did. It's actually a minor. It's actually a major with a sus4. Did the same thing there. So this is A major with the sus4. So A add 4, E add 4. Just kind of a cool little thing that I like to play that gives it a little bit more interest melodically. But I'm just playing out of these shapes. And another cool thing you can do is take the 4 diminished spread triads. So that would be like 1, flat 5, flat 3, like I did earlier, and resolve them into the chord tones. And then I go here. So this is up a minor third. Resolve into the 5th, and then resolve into the flat 7, and then that one. That's actually where the rest of those 2 notes want to resolve in there. But if I go and then go up here, goes into the 3rd, and then you can also use the Mixolydian scale like I mentioned at the beginning, right? The thing about using the scale is that a lot of times you're playing notes that are maybe not good notes to play on the chord by accident just because you're just meandering around. So what you want to do is you want to learn where those chord tones are, because that's what makes it sound like you know what you're doing. You can get into more interesting lines if you get into the Mixolydian scale, but what I would do is combine it with arpeggios. That's what you hear me play those kind of lines there where I'm skipping around with arpeggios. I start with scalar. I'm using that dominant 9th arpeggio in there. So that to me is a more interesting way of using scales. So once again, I'm using the scale to launch into the arpeggio. Scale. Arpeggio. Like that. That's all for now. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're a first-time viewer, ring the bell. That'll let you know when I go live and when a new video comes out. Give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment. That's very important. If you're interested in the Beato book, go to my website at www.rickbeato.com. Follow me on Instagram at rickbeato1. Check out the new Beato ear training program at beatoeartraining.com. And if you want to support the channel even more, think about becoming a member of the Beato Club. Thanks for watching.